first of 3 against the Angels. The Marlins are looking to get back in the win column, and there is no better place to do it than right here at Lone Depot Park. The Marlins, they have been so good here at home this season, a 34-23 record. It's 5th best across Major League Baseball, and the Marlins, they struggled in the last part of the road trip, but for Clayton McCullough, he knows his team has been so good here in Miami.
Glad to be home. We've done well here this year, at home, so we need that to continue. And I think, the parts of, seasons, there's definitely, it's tough to have everything like going at the same time. Usually there's at times a piece of your team that is struggling, but when those times come, that's when the other parts have to, go. So if we give up 2 runs today, we got to find a way to score 3, and if we give up 7, well, we got to find a way to score 8 or 9. That's how teams over the long haul of a season, you win a lot of games. So I'm thinking, I really do believe, our offense had a rough little bit of a stretch here, but a lot of confidence that those guys are going to get back going. Hopefully some home cooking helps us out, but we certainly need to string together some series wins here to keep heat on people.
And no better night to do it than a Friday night from here at Lone Depot Park. Don't go anywhere. When we return, the Marlins look to beat the Angels. Your favorite broadcast duo, Kyle Seeloff, Tommy Hutton, will have your call next.
Hero movers.
Miami Marlins baseball is presented by Hoffman, Gregg and Garcia, the official law firm of the Miami Marlins, by FPL, and by UHealth, pushing medicine forward. George Clausen versus Tyler Phillips in game 1 of a 3-game series this weekend at Lone Depot Park between the Marlins and the Angels. The Angels are 44-71. The Marlins return home tonight 58-58. Tyler Phillips worked out at Truist Park yesterday afternoon. He flew back ahead of the ball club. That's a good thing, because the Marlins got home around 4 o'clock this morning. Let's get you set for this one tonight. Take a look at that Angels starting lineup, led by Kurt Suzuki and brought to you by FPL. It'll be Meckler, Trout, and Shawnoel, followed by Neto, Grissom, and Ballesteros, Peraza, Lowe, and Heineman. Round out the starting 9 for the struggling Los Angeles Angels here tonight. Here comes Tyler Phillips and Hut. Marlins could use a good start from the righty this evening.
Yeah, they sure could. Making his first ever appearance against the Los Angeles Angels. Coming off a win in New York against the Mets. He went 5 innings, gave up just 6 hits, a couple of runs, and boy, has he pitched well here at Lone Depot. Tyler Phillips at Lone Depot in 15 games, 6 starts, is 2-1 and has an ERA of 1.63.
So it is a different opponent. It is a different ballpark. It's a different matchup. And maybe more importantly, a much more manageable opponent on paper for the Marlins tonight. First pitch of the ball game misses outside. We are underway on time at 7:10 back home in Miami. And Wade Meckler leading things off for the Angels, the Anaheim native. Batting .310 over 57 games this season. Have a good year for the Angels.
Yeah, he was hitting so well in Double-A. He was hitting near .350 in about 30 games at Double-A. He got up here quickly.
They couldn't hold them down any longer as a 2-0 sinker's in there for a called strike. So the Angels are in Miami after dropping a series in Baltimore. Marlins were just swept in Atlanta after taking 3 of 4 in New York against the Mets. That's a good sinker, 2-2.
So important always to watch Tyler Phillips, and when he establishes that sinker, well, it just sets up the sweeper and the split.
Tyler having a good season, making a career high 13th start tonight. He's already tossed the career high 89 in the 3rd innings. Bouncing ball to the right side. Kyle Stowers gobbles it up in a race to the bag. He beats Meckler there. And there's 1 up and 1 down for Phillips.
I like that from Kyle Stowers. Let's take a look at the defense brought to you by Doral Kia. Going to do it differently. How about Joe Mack behind the plate around the infield? Leo, Otto, X, and Kyle. Looking in the outfield, you got Ruiz, Marcy, and Owen Casey left to right.
And why did you like that from Stowers?
Because anytime you can eliminate the flip and the pitcher having to catch it and step on the bag, eliminates all that.
Happy birthday, Mike Trout, who swings and misses at a first pitch splitter from Tyler Phillips.
All right, he had to make a decision. First he was going to flip it, then he thought, nah, let me take it myself.
Fly ball in the air. This is slugged deep right center field. Way back she goes and gone. It's another birthday bomb for Mike Trout, who's been one of the best in the business for 16 seasons. And the Halos jump out to a 1-0 lead.
Pretty amazing that he had hit 5 home runs on his birthday prior to that at bat. So he has now homered 6 times on his birthday, 97 out over the plate. I watched him take batting practice, and he hit a number of balls into right center, into those seats out there. He's got that kind of power. 423rd home run for Mike Trout,
who turns 35 years old today. It's his 19th home run of the season, and he loves playing on his birthday. There's Nolan Shanoel, who played his college ball up the road at Florida Atlantic University. I understand you had a chance to say hello earlier today.
I did. Talked to him. He's got family here from Boynton Beach. Went to Park Vista High School, the same high school as Trey Turner. So yeah, he's got friends and family here.
0-2 the count on Shanoel, batting .273, and he sends that high in the air deep to right field. Back onto the warning track goes Owen Casey, and he reels it in. Off the bat, that Angels dugout got very loud. I think they thought for a moment that Shanoel had gone back-to-back with Trout.
Yeah, I was watching Owen Casey. You'd like to see him get back to the fence a little quicker and then come in, as opposed to drifting the way he did. He just kept drifting and drifting and drifting. Fortunately, he was able to stay with it and put it away.
Had it all the way. Here's Zach Neto, another Miami native. First pitch swinging, ground ball left side. Lopez takes care of that. The Angels get one. Trout his 19th of the year.
Ends.
Marlins TV is presented by Werner Hoffman, Greg, and Garcia. And the Marlins back home tonight, ready to turn the page. They allowed 19 runs over that 3-game sweep in Atlanta. But they trail after a half-inning of play. Mike Trout, a solo shot, 1-0 LA. It'll be Stowers, Lopez, and Conine for the Marlins here in the last of the first. Starting lineup brought to you by Werner Hoffman, Greg, and Garcia. Those 3 will be followed by Edwards, Casey Jimenez, Marcy Mack, and Ruiz. George Clausen is on the mound for the Angels tonight. A very interesting young arm who has not had a whole lot of, let's call it, success in his very young major league career. But the Angels think they have a powerful cannon of a right arm here, huh?
Yeah, he had some early starts, a couple of them in April, but was extremely wild. 10 walks in 4 2/3 innings. He went down to AAA, and we were told was able to put together a better ball strike ratio, but still walked 46 in 91 innings. So be patient, get strikes, get base hits, just like that.
Leadoff single for Kyle Stowers.
What's our scouting report tell us of the 24-year-old right-hander? It's his 3rd major league start, not season, but that's okay. He's got a Max connection. He and Max Meyer, both from the University of Minnesota. He was one of those kids that had Tommy John surgery as a freshman.
24-year-old out of Wisconsin. Was originally drafted by Philadelphia in the 6th round of 2023. Here is Otto Lopez, batting a team leading .318 on the season. He was 5 for 29 on the road trip. Stowers at first. That bouncing ball goes foul.
Well, the one thing when Otto has hit in the number 2 spot, he's hit .394 hitting in that number 2 spot.
Continues to lead baseball with 143 hits. Tied for first in doubles with 29. Tied with Matt Olson in that department, who just put on a show when we were in Atlanta. Lopez second in multi-hit games with 44. Griffin Conine on deck.
Yeah, he's dropped out of that batting race a little bit. Luis Arias hasn't missed a beat since he left San Francisco and became a Philly.
Somehow he has only gotten better. There's some awful rain in the Northeast tonight. A ton of those games either in progress or have yet to start are currently delayed as Lopez hits that fastball foul.
Well, I don't need to tell you. You know what rain delays are about.
There's an hour and 24-minute rain delay last night. Marlins landed at Miami International right around 2:45, 3 o'clock this morning. Had delays in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, D.C., and New York. Lopez shoots that high in the air. Shallow center. Here comes Trout. And he makes the catch. He was side saddled by Peraza.
That's the defense setup for the Angels, brought to you by Doral Kia. Wade Meckler, Mike Trout is DH, but he's played a lot of center field this year. Josh Lowe in right. Neto and Peraza up the middle. Vaughn Grissom, we've seen him, saw him as a Brave. Nolan Shawnuel at first base, and Tyler Heineman behind the plate.
The magician, who used to play for the Marlins.
The former Marlin. Briefly.
Who penned a very emotional goodbye to Toronto earlier this season. Here's Griffin Conine, a former Blue Jays farmhand. Conine is coming off a road trip in which he was 4 for 24 at the plate. And he lays off a changeup. It's 2-0. So Clausen, look, this is one of the more intriguing young arms in this Angels organization. His development, obviously, as Hud alluded to, hasn't been all that smooth. This is a guy who had Tommy John surgery, as Tommy told you, back in 2021, which was just 5 years ago. And I think most importantly for the Marlins, Hud, make him throw strikes.
Absolutely.
His fastball can overwhelm you, but command has absolutely been a developmental hurdle for Clausen. Stowers with a leadoff single. He's at first with 1 out. Swing and a miss. Clausen threw that fastball right by Griff.
Talk about some of the hitters who have really flourished here at Lone Depot. Griffin Conine, a .317 hitter at home, and a home OPS over 1,000.
2-2. Struck him out. Good slider. Those last 2 pitches, it's a heck of a sequence. Young man goes upstairs with 94, then he buries the slider at 91.
Yeah, his repertoire, he's going to use that 4-seamer, which is, you pointed out, he can get it into the upper 90s. Then he's got a nice changeup and a slider. He'll use curve and sinker a little bit, but primarily those first 3 pitches he likes to use.
Here is Xavier Edwards batting cleanup. Swing and a miss. Clausen goes right back to the slider. This is a series featuring the Marlins, who are .500, trying to win now, trying to stay in the National League wildcard picture. And you got a young man like Clausen on the mound for the Angels tonight, and they're trying to find out if this guy can be a part of their next winning ball club. Quickly, 0-2 on Edwards, who's coming off a road trip that saw him go 5 for 22 at the plate with a double.
Well, I mentioned some of the offense they got rid of in Joe Adell and Soler and Ohapi, and then also part of their rotation with Soriano going his way as well.
I think if you're a fan of baseball and maybe you don't follow the Angels all that closely and you root for the Marlins, I think the most compelling storyline here would be Mike Trout remains an Angel, and he is very defiant about going out a winner in Anaheim. And obviously that has not gone all that well over the years. The birthday boy's played in 3 playoff games in his career.
3 playoff games. I looked at that and I had to look at it about 10 times.
Amazing.
Realized 15 years. And the sad part about that is that fans across the nation just haven't had a chance to see Mike Trout alive.
I know. Little flare, shallow center, trying to get down. There goes Neto, and he makes the over-the-shoulder grab. He's an outstanding shortstop. And Zach Neto retires the side here in the bottom of the first. And nothing for the Marlins after the leadoff single by Stowers.
Jones.
Well, here's the current odds on tonight's Hard Rock bet. On Tyler Phillips, 4.5 strikeouts. The over at +225. And the under at -375. Mike Trout's 19th home run of the season has staked the Angels to an early 1-0 lead as Tyler Phillips goes back to work. So Marlins allowing 19 runs over the last 3 games in Atlanta as Vaughn Grissom, who used to be a big old prospect for the Braves, will bat. And he was traded to Boston. More on that later. I think it would be really good if Phillips could reset the bullpen tonight, go 5 or 6 innings. Hopefully he leaves with a lead and let some of the big boys take over to try to win this thing.
You'd love to really see that. And you talked about the runs allowed. The Marlins scored just 6 runs in Atlanta.
They pitched very well in New York against the Mets, but then took a step up in weight class.
You know, Clayton said it best when talking to the media before the game. You get to a point where everything isn't working just right, but when the other team gets 2 runs, you need to get 3. The other team gets 7, you need to get 8. So you got to play that way.
There's Jacob Marcy, and there's one gone here in the second. Thought it was interesting you bring up Clayton. He was talking earlier this afternoon. And I'll paraphrase here, but asked about the delays, the late nights, and getting swept, and the ebbs and flows, and the ups and downs of a season. You know, he basically started to go into, you don't deserve to be here. When you're a major leaguer, you earn the right to be here. And the guys that can push through this are the ones that are going to play in October. And if you can't get through it and handle all of it, you're going to be on hole number 1 following the end of the regular season. That is driven deep to right field, way back there. That's off the wall for Moises Ballesteros, who hit that ball so hard he'll have to stop at first and be content with a single. He was just acquired by the Angels from the Cubs.
He actually played 59 games with the Cubs this year. Breaking ball stays out over the plate, and Ballesteros, who's primarily a DH, put that DH swing on that pitch.
He made his major league debut on May 13th of last season against the Marlins at Wrigley Field. Here is Oswald Peraza.
Basically what Clayton meant is that you've earned the right to wear that major league uniform. You've earned the right to have those late nights and early arrivals.
Right.
That's part of the deal.
It was really good. ABS powered by T-Mobile, and a good challenge out of the gates here from Joe Mack. Thought it was a really good soundbite, though. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. Keep on going. Keep pushing. Peraza batting .233 on the season. And he takes strike 2. Young man out of Venezuela.
Spent a few years, about 3 years with the Yankees.
Angels got him at the deadline last July from New York. Swing and a miss. Good splitter there. And Phillips has his second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's part of Tyler Phillips when he gets ahead. He's got a couple of really good put-away pitches. One's the splitter, and the other's that nice sweeper. He'll even use his curveball once in a while in those situations.
So with 2 out, Josh Lowe will be the batter. Former 13th overall pick by the Rays is Lowe back in 2016.
It's always very confusing when they have Lowe and Lau.
Lowe and Lau. 72 games this season for Lowe, a .201 hitter. He shoots that the other way. That's sinking fast, and that's going to get down for a base hit in front of Ruiz. Already the 3rd hit in this game for the Angels off of Phillips.
Well, they know, I'm sure the Angels, looking at their scouting report and their game plan, they know that Tyler Phillips is going to be around the plate. He's aggressive on the mound, throws a lot of strikes, so they're going to be aggressive at the plate.
That's a good piece of hitting there by Lowe, and here is the former aforementioned Marlin, Tyler Heineman. And he takes strike one on the outside corner. Heineman batting $172 this season, splitting his time between Toronto and Los Angeles. 51 games, 1 homer, 8 RBIs. Swinging a ground ball, yanked foul outside of first. Phillips ahead of Heineman, 0-2.
So let's see, his battery mate went on to Toronto, Rafael Soriano, who's pitching tonight for the Blue Jays in Philadelphia against Zach Wheeler. Should be a pretty good matchup
if they play. Joe Mack making his 61st start behind the plate tonight. A tremendous rookie he has been for the Marlins. First and second with 2 outs. Angels leading 1-0. We're in the second. Great to be back home. Phillips ready with a 1-2. Here it comes. And a line drive pulled foul. Heineman out in front of that curveball. Bit of a homecoming of sorts for Heineman. He's 35 years old, but he was born in the Pacific Palisades. So as the crow flies, I'm not sure how far that is with traffic.
It's going to
take you a little longer.
Yeah, it's a little closer to Dodger Stadium than it is to Anaheim.
Where those fires were, correct?
Yeah.
The Palisades.
Yeah.
Fly ball in the air, shallow left. And Ruiz has got it, and the Angels leave a pair on here in the second.
Welcome back to Lone Depot Park. It's 1-0 Angels thanks to Mike Trout, who added to his all-time Angels ranks with his 19th homer of the year in the first. Our Toyota trend shows us that the 12-time All-Star is a franchise leader in homers, runs scored, OPS, extra base hits, and WAR. Clayton said pregame that when Trout is healthy, it's great for the game. He compared him to Jim Brown, said the way he's able to impact the game on both sides of the ball. Clayton also said that one day we're going to look back at this in his Hall of Fame career and feel so privileged to have been in the game the same time as Mike Trout. Tommy, I know you've had a chance to see him a ton across his 16-year career. What's impressed you most?
You know, it's one of those things you wish as a fan, and having seen him, had he been able to stay healthy the last 3 or 4 years, because he's missed a lot of games, he'd be well over 500 home runs right now, easy, and a lot of hardware, 3 MVP awards, Rookie of the Year, but just as Kyle mentioned earlier, just 3 games in postseason.
He still owns the second longest home run ever here at Lone Depot Park. It was a 473-foot homer a couple of seasons ago over the Norwegian Cruise Line home run harbor in deep left center. But that's always, at least to date, been a fun trivia question. Do you know who owns the longest home run ever here in Lone Depot Park history? And I'll help you, it is not a Marlin.
Yeah, my guess was going to be Giancarlo. Teixeira?
May 14th, 2019, Avisail Garcia. Fly ball to right field off the bat of Owen Casey, sending Lowe back with room. He's got it. It was a 485-foot home run to dead center field here.
Wow. Yeah. Owen Casey's getting close. You know, he's not gotten a hit yet since he's returned from the injured list, and he was so hot before he got hurt. He had a few games, 2 or 3 games on rehab. He just hasn't quite gotten that timing, but the last game in Atlanta, better swings, not a bad swing there.
Here's Leo Jimenez. So when you're watching Casey swing, what makes you believe he's close?
Most of it's timing, and he was just a little bit out front of that, and you see him just miss pitches. Saw that in a couple of games in Atlanta. But when you've been out a while, it's the timing's the key thing.
Timing is everything. Nobody on, 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Jimenez batting .209. He was 2 for 10 in New York and Atlanta as Leo swings and misses. What do you see from this young man Clausen here early? Stuff looks pretty good.
Well, what I see is strikes so far. Some pretty good sliders. His fastball has a little velocity to it.
By the way, the guy that debuted earlier this season, certainly not the guy the Angels think that they're getting. I say that because he was so good in AAA in Salt Lake in the month of July. He was the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Month. And let me tell you something. That's saying something if you can pitch in the PCL.
Yeah, it's a hitter's league.
It has been over the years notorious for being a launching pad, as Heineman does not challenge that changeup. Another foul ball.
Seems to have good command with his slider so far early on. He's thrown that for a lot of strikes.
Played McCullough, hoping that his ball club can get back on track here tonight. I don't know if everybody would agree, but if I told you after 116 games the Marlins would be 58-58 and 3 out of a wild card, I think some folks would sign up for that. Maybe others would not. I don't know, but hey, roll the dice. A little over 45 games left to play. Let's see what happens here.
Anytime there's a chance, you stay right with it.
Jimenez putting up a good battle. And he went around for strike 3. So nobody on and 2 out. Let's step aside for a message from FPL.
At FPL, our teams are working every day because reliability isn't an option, it's a commitment. FPL, working for you every single day.
2 out, here comes Jacob Marcy, who's looked better. Had a couple of doubles and a homer on the road trip. And he swings and misses.
Yeah, I think when you look back, and I was trying to put some numbers together, Jacob Marcy, last 13 games, he's been a .276 hitter, but adding to that a .382 on base percentage.
Right, not since the All-Star break, so very respectable numbers. Still leads the ball club, having drawn 56 walks this season, so he remains very patient at the plate. Which I think, ironically, at times this season has gotten him into a little bit of trouble when he's taking once in a while a 2-0 fastball down the middle of the plate. I think the Marlins are trying to find that sweet spot of using a very, very good eye and then pulling the trigger when you're in an advantageous situation.
Yeah, there's such a fine line to that too.
It's hard to thread that needle as he lays off of ball 3.
That's interesting. You have a pitcher, he's struggled a little bit throwing the fastball for strikes, but his slider, he's kind of used that a lot. Now, I don't know if he'd look 3-1 slider, but he could use it right here.
Oh,
see, his fastball, he's having a whole lot of trouble with it.
Overcooked that one at 97, and the Marlins have their second base runner of the night and their first since the leadoff single from Stowers in the first. Did this hit him? I guess it's semantics. It's either a walk or a hit by pitch.
Yeah,
but it's really close.
I don't know if I saw the ball change directions. I'm putting down walk.
They have officially declared that a walk. Here is Joe Mack, who had a double and a homer in New York and Atlanta. 4 for 14 over the road trip.
Had a nice road trip.
Yep. One ball, no strikes to count, and Clausen steps off.
I think the name Joe Mack is quietly getting around the league.
I think you're right. He's tied with Charles Johnson in 1995 for the most home runs by a Marlins rookie primary catcher with 11. So as far as I'm concerned, I think this Friday night is a perfect night to make it 12 and leapfrog CJ. He's done a great job, though. Young man obviously didn't go to college. Big time Marlins draft pick, catching in the major leagues, hitting a respectable 240. He has shown power. His defense has been brilliant. I mean, what more could you ask for right now?
Yeah, I think overall his handling of the pitchers has been terrific.
2-1 coming. Pretty big swing on that heater. 2-2.
You know, it's a little different with Marlins catchers, and in Joe's case, a young catcher. The one thing he can eliminate that with other ball clubs you can't do, he doesn't have to worry about calling pitches, which I think takes a little pressure off him, and he can add that somewhere else.
He waits on a 2-2, and that misses low for ball 3. That was a little added wrinkle that Nelly and I probably did not talk enough about after the deadline. Liam Hicks getting shipped to Tampa Bay, where I assume he'll have to call pitches again. Payoff pitch coming. Marcy will be on the move. Swinging a ground ball to second. And the side is retired.
The Marlins.
Esta transmisión de los Marlins está disponible en español.
Isn't it so nice to be back home? It's beautiful. Shot at Lone Depot Park, top of the 3rd inning. Angels leading 1-0. Scoreboard brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Top of the order due up here for the Angels. That'll begin with Wade Meckler, who bounced out to Stowers to start the ball game. Interesting note on Wade Meckler. Back in May, he became the first player to homer in his first at bat for the Angels since Mike Napoli in May of 2006. That's a long time. And the first to homer in his Angels debut since Randall Grichuk in July of 2023.
One of those many kids out of Oregon State.
Another challenge here coming, huh? I think Joe thinks this is another strike. And it just missed a little bit low. Yeah, Oregon State. How about Adley Rutschman? How about that deal? Sending him to Boston. It's a big deal. It's driven to right, but right at Casey, who squeezes out number 1. So here comes Mike Trout. 19th home run of the season in the first Statcast, brought to you by Google Cloud.
Yeah, it was a sinker out over the plate. 97, good velocity, but allowed Trout to extend those strong arms and crush it just right of center.
It was his 6th birthday blast. It was his 110th career first inning homer. Mentioned the Red Sox. They're already winning 3-0 tonight at home over the Athletics, who dismissed and parted ways with their general manager today. But that's not the story there. The Red Sox have won 31 of their last 36 games. And no, that is not a typo, as Trout strikes out on a good splitter from Phillips, route number 2.
31-5. That's just incredible. Since July 3rd, they're 26-3.
It's really amazing. Here is Shonowell. Fastball in the dirt for ball 1. Nice bounce back there for Phillips facing Trout. I think everybody might have learned a little something after the first inning homer, and they strike him out with a splitter here in the 3rd. Shonowell takes inside, maybe a touch low for ball 2.
This guy's always going to make you work. He's had high on-base percentage. You go back even to his FAU days.
Almost hit him. Some of his college numbers were absolutely ridiculous. He hit 447 his last year in college.
Didn't he have on base over 500?
I beg your pardon. How about 615?
Excuse me.
And he's on base. I mean, truly ridiculous numbers. A 615 on base percentage as a junior in the Conference USA. Very respectable Division I conference in baseball.
Well, his coach, Coach Mack, John McCormack's going to be here Sunday.
Is he?
Said he's going to come down and watch. Yeah.
You should bring the rest of the team now, kids. If you do all this stuff, you can be just like him. Here is Zach Neto, who grew up nearby. Here's a good one. I don't want to take all of Kelly's thunder. She told me this last year. I'm sure you often think, boy, this is a young man's game. Last year we were in Anaheim. Zach Neto came up to Kelly and said, I used to go to the Marlins games and see you doing Marlins vision on the scoreboard.
So I think at least now that Kelly knows that if she needs to get Zach Neto for an interview, she's got him.
That killed me when she told me that. Yeah, he came up to me and said he used to come to the games when he was little and I was the in-game host. Coral Park High School, did Neto?
Yeah, guys, I was actually talking to the Angels sideline reporter, Erica. She's like, oh, let me introduce you to Zach. And she's like, Zach, this is Kelly. And Zach goes, you're not going to want to hear this, but, and proceeded to tell me that. And I said, you can exit stage left. Thank you. I no longer would like to speak to you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness. He's 25. 13th overall pick. He was a Campbell Camel, was Zach Neto. Went in the 2022 draft. Look out, Kelly. You know what's amazing about the game today, though, is how quick these kids go from college, play 100 games in the minor leagues, and right to the show. Doesn't apply to everybody. That used to never happen.
Yeah, obviously. I think we're seeing it a lot more, yeah.
One ball, two strikes on Neto. You got Shonowell at first and Neto at the plate. You factor in Mike Trout. And those three, really a big part of the Angels' future as they try to piece it together after that. See who can and can't play. Who can be a part of the next great Angels team. There's ball three to Neto. I love this kid, too. He's a great shortstop.
And by the way, to your point about the young guys getting here, Nolan Shonowell played just 25 games in the minor leagues before the Angels brought him up.
Now your brother-in-law, didn't he go straight to the major leagues?
He did. Dick Ruthven. He's on that list, about 12, 15 guys. Bob Horner, I believe.
It's kind of a fascinating storyline in Anaheim, where they have been struggling now for so long. Kurt Suzuki's on a one-year deal. He just wrapped up his playing career in recent years, trading away big league talent. And there's strike three on the inside corner. So Phillips works around his own two-out walk here in the third. Still 1-0 Angels.
I'm praying for you every single day. I also heard you from Miami. I'm a Miami boy myself, but we both know people from Miami are tough, and I know you got that same strength inside of you. I know this journey isn't going to be easy. I just want you to keep believing, keep smiling when you can, and keep fighting one day at a time, man.
What's up, Logan? It's Jacob. Just wanted to reach out. I've heard everything going on, and I know things aren't the easiest, but you've got a lot of coaches, a lot of teammates right behind you rooting for you, and I'm here the same. Been thinking about you. Just wishing you the best, and here if you need anything.
That was Angels shortstop Zach Neto and Marlins prospect Jacob Lombard as Ruiz doubles on the first pitch of the inning. Guys, those are both Miami natives sending words of support and encouragement to that young man right here. His name is Logan Villar. He's 10 years old. He's currently going through cancer treatments after being diagnosed with brain cancer. Guys, baseball is his life. His father said those messages not only meant the world to Logan, but receiving these videos of encouragement from Major League Baseball stars is a reminder to his son that baseball, it's more than a game. It's a family built on kindness, encouragement, and hope. And of course, to learn more of Logan's story, it says GoFundMe link, so you can go and check that out. And guys, I should add, Neto also got his teammate Mike Trout to do a video with him. So just very kind gestures by all those involved. You know,
that
it meant
is
the world
so
to him.
nice.
I am sure as Stowers flares that into shallow center, Trout's coming out and he'll play it on a hop. He deked Ruiz. Stowers with his second hit of the ball game. And the Marlins, who trail 1-0, are in business here in the third. I am sure, though, as soon as some of these young men in the Marlins clubhouse catch wind of that story, they'll send some well wishes as well.
Yeah, I think Ruiz held his ground anyway. Trout tried to give him a little deke, but he wasn't going to score on that. All of a sudden, Kyle Stowers 2 for 2 in this one. And this is where you have to really jump on a pitcher and try to have yourself a big inning. So the Marlins have set themselves up for that. First and third, nobody out.
Here is Otto Lopez. Flew out to center in the first. Takes strike one at the knees. So Ruiz with a leadoff double. Stowers follows with a single. Marlins trying to cash in at the very least a run here in the third. And you can see in the early going some of the command issues for Clausen.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of it's been with his four-seamer. And add to all the other numbers for Otto Lopez this year, hitting .303 with runners in scoring position.
He's hitting 4 of 5 here in August as he waits on a 1-1 and slams that foul out of play. He has been the model of consistency, has Otto. And there are those numbers with runners in scoring position. Plenty of speed at third with Ruiz. Blake Lally keeps a close eye on him. Chopper left side. Here comes Ruiz. The throw to the plate is in time.
Really surprised he went. Even if he was going on contact, that ball was right in front of him. Really surprised he went. A lot of times you'll see a runner with nobody out will not be going on contact, and with one out they will be.
Do you think, Cut, it was because of the nature in which the ball was hit, a chopping ball? Is that what Ruiz thought he heard, felt, and saw?
As fast as he is, it wasn't even close at the plate. But on the other hand, if he was going on contact, that's the chance you take.
Ruiz out 5-2. Here's Conine, who takes a changeup for ball one. Now Stowers at second, Lopez at first. Conine 0 for 1, struck out back in the first on a slider. Pop foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Some speed still on the bases. Swing at a shallow fly ball to center field. Trout's coming on this time with room. And he makes the catch. There's 2 away as we step aside and get you a message from Doral Kia.
Take advantage of a pricito now on all of your favorite new Kia models. Like a new Kia K5, Sportage, Sorento, Soul, and more.
Trout has gotten a lot of sprinting in tonight. And you pointed out something to me that totally blew me away before the game, that Mike Trout has never won a Gold Glove. I would have guessed that he'd had a few of them.
You know it.
Oh, that'll keep him out of the Hall of Fame for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I hadn't thought about it that way. So Marlins had first and third with nobody out, and now they're in danger of not scoring a run. Unless Xavier Edwards can change that.
Look at that. 2 outs. Runners in scoring position. X has come up big.
Hey, you know who over the years, back to Trout for a moment, and a big reason why he's never won a Gold Glove if you look. The big thorn in his side, Torrey Hunter, Jacoby Ellsbury.
Okay, yeah, Torrey Hunter for sure.
Kevin Kiermaier, guys like that, and then he started to get hurt and other guys had opportunities. As Edwards flies this out towards the gap in right center. And Trout is over and makes the catch. They had first and third, and they failed to score.
Baseball.
Don't miss a moment this season with Marlins.tv. Brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Stream the entire season within Marlins territory. You can watch games at home or on the go and stay connected all season long. Subject to national exclusivities. Visit Marlins.tv for details and start streaming today. Top of the 4th inning. Scoreboard brought to you by FPL. Here's Vaughn Grissom after a rather frustrating bottom of the 3rd there for Miami.
Yeah, you look back at that first and third, nobody out. You hope it doesn't come back to bite you late in the game. You were talking, and I remember when Vaughn Grissom came up with the Braves, he was highly touted.
Oh, yeah.
I think he came up, there was one of those years where Ozzie Albies was hurt, and Grissom was going to play a lot, get a lot of playing time at second base, and he did his first 41 games. He did a good job.
Came up in 2022. Check swing, they appealed. Did he go? Yes, indeed, he did, according to our crew chief, Lance Barksdale. And Grissom is struck out. That's the 4th strikeout for Phillips.
Then I think Grissom moved on to the Red Sox.
Yeah, he was traded by Atlanta to Boston in a rather high-profile deal. Chris Sale went to Atlanta in that deal.
I would say so.
That was a 1-for-1 deal.
Wow, how about that?
Well, I should say cash was included, but player-wise,
well, I think also at that time, the Red Sox with injuries and the amount of money Chris Sale was going to demand, I think they felt it wasn't going to work out. Good jump, good play. We saw a play earlier in the game when Big Red was drifting a little bit back to the wall. That time he got a good jump, stayed with it.
A sliding shoestring grab by Owen Casey.
Yeah, get that glove out. Keep the concentration. Kind of tuck it in after you make the catch.
He kind of kept that right hand off to his side for some balance as well. Nicely done by Owen. Making his 65th start of the season in right field as Oswald Peraza fouls off a sinker.
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox at that time thought that Sale would do what he's done since then.
Correct.
Yeah.
But amazing in hindsight to see how it's all worked out. Marlins avoided Sale in Atlanta, who was scheduled to pitch this weekend in New York. Again, there's a ton of delays on the East Coast tonight. And Atlanta and New York are indeed delayed. So Atlanta goes from one rain delay to another. Bouncing ball up the middle. That's got eyes. And that sweeper rolls into center. 2-out base hit for the Angels. That's their 4th hit of the ball game. And Peraza's first. I'll tell you what, I think Phillips has been pretty good here. He's got 4 strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody, allowed the homer, but he's just kind of out there doing his thing.
You know, he's been able to really make that transition, not only physically, but mentally, from the bullpen to the starting role. Of course, I asked Clayton how has it been having Tyler in the dugout instead of in the bullpen, which brought laughter around everybody because he's a fun guy to be around.
I think the bullpen is probably saying,
I think they miss him.
Make sure, well, or some might be saying, make sure he stays there, and the dugout's probably saying, you got to get out of here. It's the 0-1 to low, and he flies one to left. Plenty of room out there for Esteury Ruiz, and Phillips works around the 2-out base hit by Peraza. 3.5 in the book, still 1-0. Well, they overcame 5 deficits in that game, and tonight the Red Sox, who are winning 5-0 at home after 3, are trying to become the first team to win 27 times in a 30-game span since the then 2017 Cleveland Indians. Owen Casey leads off the bottom of the 4th for Miami. They trail 1-0.
We talked about Owen Casey trying to get that timing back, and his stint prior to getting hurt, his 14 games prior to that, he was hitting .333 with 4 home runs and 10 RBIs.
How hard is it? He missed 18 games. How hard is it to find that rhythm again?
It's one of those things you could go back and you're not going to hit that way the whole year. But now that he gets hurt, has to go rehab a little bit, not play for a while, and he only had 2 or 3 rehab games, not that many ABs. Plus, it's the minor leagues.
Hit a couple of homers.
Yeah, it's the minor leagues. It's not here, so it takes a while.
Is it that type of swing right there that makes you feel like he's just a tick off?
Yeah, just missed. He had one in Atlanta that he just missed. And if the Marlins are going to win and get back even closer, I think they're going to need Owen Casey to drive in some runs.
Good take there. 2-2.
Because by losing Liam Hicks in the trade, now you're relying more on Conine and Casey and those left-handed bats.
And for that matter, because he bats cleanup so much, you got to kind of throw like Xavier Edwards in that mix as well. If those guys are going to hit 3, 4, 5 oftentimes, you got to find a way to drive some boys in. And there's ball 4. That's a terrific plate appearance for Owen Casey. Make sure you reel in the perks with a 2027 Marlins membership. It's right around the corner. Renew your season tickets today and enjoy lower pricing, complimentary suite tickets, player meet and greets, exclusive giveaways, and more perks all season long. Learn more at marlins.com/season tickets.
Just drawing the walk and taking some close pitches is a good sign.
There is Leo Jimenez, 0 for 1 at the plate tonight. Well, these next couple of weeks, in terms of the Marlins' playoff chances, are going to be very interesting. And the reason I mention that is because 4 of the Marlins' next 5 opponents are currently sitting below 500. And the Marlins are 39-27 against teams under 500 this season, compared to a 19-31 record against teams 500 or better. So you're playing the Angels, going to face the Pirates, who did some buying at the deadline. Pittsburgh dead last in the National League Central, 3 games under 500, but they're not willing to wave the white flag. Although they are losing 5-0 at home tonight in the bottom of the 3rd to the Mets, who sold off 1/3 of their ball club. Keith Hernandez goes viral after the deadline, and the Mets have won 3 in a row.
They're getting their youngsters, Ewing and Benj and all those guys, getting an opportunity.
Check swing, no appeal. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jimenez.
Bichette's kind of picked things up a little bit. Lindor, Semien, the veterans.
Yep. Yeah, Semien just hit a 3-run homer in that game.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Clausen has been ineffective at times tonight, but that slider has been a very good pitch for him.
Yeah, it has. He's missed badly with the four-seamer every once in a while, but he's gone back to that slider and made some really good pitches with it.
So 1 on and 1 out now for Jacob Marcy, who walked back in the second. You know what I'm saying, though, these next couple of weeks, and you got to know as a player, we've been really good against teams that are struggling this season. We've got to take care of our business now if we want a chance.
Yeah, I think there's I don't want to say a sense of urgency, but I think you feel it a little bit as a player.
It's a pretty good bunt. Here comes Grissom, and he can't field the bare hand. Yeah, it's a bunt base hit for Marcy, and the Marlins have the tying run at second base with 1 out. It's going to be a do-or-die play for Vaughn Grissom, who tried to barehand it and couldn't.
Yeah, it's great to see Jacob Marcy. He's one of the best at that on the ball club. And it just goes to show when you have a little speed and you have the third baseman back a little bit, even if you square, which he almost did, and drop down the bunt, you're still going to beat it out. And I think he would have anyway. So a base hit all the way for Jake.
It's one of Clayton's big things. Move the ball forward and keep the line moving. Marcy does just that. Here's Joe Mack, who grounded out to second, back in the second. An RBI opportunity as he swings and misses. Good changeup from Clausen. So a 729 OPS on the season for Joe. He takes inside. You got Ruiz on deck. Stowers would follow if we get there. Marlins wasted a first and third with nobody out opportunity in the bottom of the third. Trying not to spoil the leadoff walk in this first and second opportunity with 1 out in the fourth. Trailing 1-0. Mack checked his swing. No appeal. 2 balls, 1 strike to count.
It's a good take, getting himself a little better hitter's count, 2-1.
You think they're starting to see Clausen better second time through?
I
They've
think
never
so.
seen him before.
I think they're seeing his slider better, which he might throw right here, 2-1.
We got a bouncing ball towards first. Shawnuel picks it up. He'll take it to the bag. Both base runners do advance. And now there's 2 out, but 2 in scoring position for Ruiz.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's gone to his secondary pitches. That was the changeup. A little bit more in hitters' counts.
Have 4 hits in this game tonight. One of them coming courtesy of the man stepping into the box. That would be Esteury Ruiz, who doubled to left back in the third. So he'll bat for the second time in as many innings here in the fourth. Casey at third, Marcy at second with 2 away. Nice backhand pick by Heineman, the veteran catcher.
Haven't said too much about the Angels manager, Kurt Suzuki, a former catcher, who certainly knows about picking balls that way. Has a very experienced bench coach in John Gibbons. Because for Suzuki, his first time managing big league club.
Signed a 1-year deal.
1-year deal. Very surprised. But when you have a guy like John Gibbons, he managed the Blue Jays for about 10, 11 years.
And a very experienced coaching staff in general. His pitching coach is Mike Maddox.
Yeah.
There's a lot of years in the game right there. There's ball 3 on Ruiz with Stowers on deck, who's already 2 for 2 with a couple of singles. That Gibby right there it is. He was to the Mets last year. Wasn't he on Carlos Mendoza's staff as his bench coach?
Got a very experienced hitting coach in Brady Anderson.
Ball 4. And the Marlins have him loaded with 2 out for Stowers.
Good job by Ruiz. Very patient.
And speaking of Mike Maddox, here he comes, and he always puts his hand on the shoulder. That's his big thing. Here comes Stowers, And let's take a look at our youth player of the ball game, Roddy, who plays for the Mets, Howard Palmetto. He loves hoverboarding, and his favorite Marlin is Kyle Stowers.
I can picture you, Kyle, going around the neighborhood in one of those hoverboards.
I'm sure you can.
You know, just flying around.
Not my cup of tea. So the conversation on the mound between Mike Maddox and George Clausen has come to an end, and here comes Stowers, who has twice singled in this game.
And by the way, pitching has been the cup of tea for the Maddoxes over the years.
Infield back, they play him to pull the pitch. Grounded foul. Went after a first pitch changeup. And I'm sure that first pitch changeup was at the directive of Mike Maddox, who was probably trying to tell Clausen and Heineman he's going to be very aggressive. Let's be careful. So he's hoping his young buck and right-hander can get out of this jam. He got out of one in the third. 1-1 now on Stowers.
You know, it's funny how you configure a lineup, put it together, and here's Kyle Stowers, just the third time hitting leadoff, yet here he is up there with bases loaded.
He is tied for the team lead in homers with 16 with Hernandez. The 2-1. A check swing. He did not go, and now it's 3 balls and a strike on Stowers, and Clausen has no wiggle room here.
This is where, as a hitter, you really have to guess certain pitch, certain location, and if it's not there, you got to take it. Make this guy pitch.
Bases loaded with 2 out for the Marlins, who trail 1-0 here in the last of the fourth. This Friday night crowd here in Miami, and many of which now will rise to their feet. 3-1. Check swing. Did he go? No. And Kyle Stowers draws a bases loaded walk to tie this game.
Let's see. Did he check it? I think he did, but you know what? You do see that call to strike once in a while, but I thought he checked it. And that's the 4th walk issued tonight by Clausen.
And here is Otto Lopez, who's 0 for 2. This is a Angels pitching staff that has struggled this season. A 4.46 ERA. It's 24th in baseball. Otto lays off a slider in the dirt for ball 1. You're starting to sense that the Marlins are ready to pounce here in the inning. And as Huck just said, 4 walks, 3 here in the 4th by Clausen, who's in a world of trouble. And Lopez flies one down the right field line. That'll twist foul into the seats.
Let's see, this would be a perfect situation for Otto to pick up double number 30 on the year.
Left-hander Taylor Saucedo is loose sitting in the bullpen. Angels have issued more walks than anybody else in baseball. And it's hurting Clausen here in the 4th as Lopez swings and misses. Right through a fastball. It's 1-2. Meanwhile, Michael Peterson is loosening for Miami. Lopez has 54 2-strike hits this season. Little chopper. Clausen will go to first. Stowers ties it. He draws a bases loaded 2-out walk. That's all the Marlins get.
It's Toyota's.
Looking for the best deal in South Florida? Head to Lone Depot Park August 11th through the 13th. Marlins take on the Pirates. Enjoy deals for the whole family, like the Marlins 4 for $44 deal presented by Pepsi. And score 4 tickets plus hot dogs, popcorn, and drinks for $44. Get your tickets at marlins.com/tickets. Top of the 5th inning. This is a 1-1 ball game. Clausen with a 31-pitch bottom of the 4th. Scoreboard brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Marlins probably feeling, though, like they should have a little bit more. They're 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position in this game. They've left 7 on base, including 5 in the last 2 innings. So 9-1-2 due up for the Halos. A little surprised Peterson is loosening, and it almost makes you wonder, like, if they're not going to let Phillips face the Angels 3rd time through the lineup.
I mean, he's just reaching 60 pitches with this pitch. You know, you almost get the feeling, is he a starter or is he still a reliever?
Right.
If he's a starter and he can give you 80, 90 pitches, let him go. But maybe that's not the feeling.
Line drive into right and a base hit for Tyler Heineman. And the Angels have the leadoff man on base for the first time tonight. Have to wonder maybe if Peterson is loosening for Trout, who's on deck. In his last start, Phillips threw 65 pitches.
Yeah, who does, and talking about Trout, does have, wow, that's surprising.
So a leadoff single for Heineman, and that's going to knock Tyler Phillips out of this ball game, making his 13th start of the season, his 29th appearance. His night will come to an end. A high leverage arm in Michael Peterson will be on the mound when we return. Marlins and the Angels tied at 1 here in the 5th. Marlins baseball is presented by Doral Kia, home of the Pasito, and by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. Friday night here in the Magic City, Daniel Moskis and Tyler Phillips chatting. Phillips seems to be okay with the decision to take him out of this ball game in the top of the 5th. 61 pitches, 45 strikes, 4 innings, a run, 5 hits. It was earned, the run. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and pretty clear here, at least to me, that Clayton McCullough and his staff not comfortable letting Phillips face the Angels for a 3rd time. So here is Wade Meckler with Heineman at first in a 1-1 game. And here's Michael Peterson, whose first pitch is fouled off to the left.
Well, Michael Peterson, we have chronicled the fact all year he's done well with runners that he's inherited. He's inherited 22 runners, and only 2 have scored.
One is taken high. Now, you know, the interesting wrinkle is, if Heineman, say, were to have gotten out, does Clayton let Phillips face Meckler until there's a base run?
I think he does.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meckler waits on a 1-1. A bouncing ball to first. Stowers goes down to second. There's one. The relay throw not in time. But they do force out Heineman at second for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that's one you're pretty sure you're not going to get a double play. It's not hit that hard. You just want to make sure as a first baseman you get a good throw off to second, and Kyle Stowers did that. No chance for 2. Make sure you get that guy at second.
Nice solid throw down to the bag by Stowers. And here is Trout, who yanks one foul into the Marlins dugout. And what a career it's been for Mike Trout, huh? 35 years old today, 3-time American League MVP. So he's now tied with Mark Reynolds and Alex Rodriguez, who both homered 6 times on their birthdays.
How about that? You know, the sad part about Trout, from 2021 through 2024, 4-year period, he averaged 67 games a year.
And still a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. A lot of lower half injuries, a lot of hamstring problems. Was on the IL once this year with a hamstring injury.
His homer earlier in the game, his first in his last 22 games played.
I think if you're Michael Peterson, and one of the reasons maybe this move was made, you stay with that, because at this stage for Mike Trout, that 99 up, it may be in a little bit, he's not going to get to.
Could be a little tardy.
Yeah.
As he was right there. So you say stick with it?
I say stick with it. I mean, you also could go slider off the plate because Trout will chase.
Now Trout's probably thinking, well, I'll probably chase, and now I've got to find a way to gear up for 99. What am I supposed to do? 2-2.
He stayed with the four-seamer.
Looked like Mack wanted it up above the strike zone, though, and he just tugged it outside. Saw Joe kind of set up upstairs. So now it's full with speed at first. We'll see if they put Meckler in motion. But again, Trout is a strikeout candidate. And there is ball 4, no, strike 3 called. And Trout will challenge, and I think he immediately knew that this is ball 4. But let's be sure, ABS powered by T-Mobile. And that's ball 4.
So a very worthwhile challenge on the part of Mike Trout right there.
He knew it.
Big difference.
His reaction immediately said it all. It's amazing the eye that some of these guys have, even when seeing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Peterson tried to shoot the knees, and he almost got it. So in a 1-1 game, here's Shonowell, who takes downstairs for ball 1.
Yeah, the tough part also about making this move, you're going to use a lot of guys out of that bullpen now, and depend on a lot of guys.
They needed 10 innings over 3 games in Atlanta from the bullpen. Shonowell hits a fastball to center, but right at Marcy, who makes the catch. Meckler bluffs a tag at second, and now there's 2 away. Michael Peterson, when the Marlins have needed him most with guys on base in the middle innings, has become like a middle innings specialist.
Middle innings high leverage guy, and it was sure good to see him back after he took that ball off the forearm or elbow area.
And here's Neto, who's 0 for 2. Zach Neto yesterday in Baltimore recorded his 20th home run of the season. He became the first shortstop in Angels history with 3 straight 20 double 20 homer seasons. And he takes strike 2. Good front door slider.
You mean Jim Fregosi never did that?
No, how about that?
That's not a good name to Met fans, though. Because Jim Fregosi was traded for Nolan Ryan.
Oh, that's a problem. Strike 3, swing and a miss. Peterson goes upstairs with a fastball to strike out Neto. And the Angels leave a pair on here in the 5th. Halfway home here in Miami tonight, still 1-1.
Welcome back. Time now for our Ocean Bank Minor League Report. Highlights. LA Eliezer Dishmay in this fantastic performance. He had 6 no-hit frames with 10 strikeouts for the Double-A Blue Wahoos, guys. Along the way, just walked 1, did all of that in just 80 pitches, guys. He leaves the no-hit with the no-hitter intact, and he also has a .33 ERA in his last 6 starts.
A young man, Kelly, who hopped into the Marlins system back in 2022. And he got himself a nice promotion after 7 excellent starts with High A Beloit this season. He's been very good, as you're pointing out there, for Pensacola. So keep an eye on the 21-year-old Eliezer Dishmay. Griffin Conine batting, leading things off in a 1-1 game. Taylor Saucedo out there pitching now for Los Angeles. I want to say Anaheim every time, but
well, have they had more names?
So they were the
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Right. They were the California Angels.
California Angels at one point.
Just the Los Angeles Angels. Bouncing ball goes foul.
We were talking about it recently. Relievers of today compared to 20-30 years ago usually have more in their repertoire, as does Saucedo. You know, a lot of times relievers would be 2-pitch guys. That's why they were in the bullpen. But now you get a guy, a left-hander's got a sweeper, 4-seamer, slider, changeup.
So here is the veteran lefty and Hawaiian-born Taylor Saucedo, who strikes out Conine with a sweeper. 1 away here in the last of the 5th. Well, the Magic is going to return to Lone Depot Park on Friday, August 21st. Harry Potter Night's coming back when the Marlins take on the Nationals. A ticket package includes an exclusive Harry Potter themed baseball cap with your house colors. You can get your tickets at marlins.com/Harry Potter. It's Pokemon Go night here at the ballpark tonight. Here is Xavier Edwards batting with nobody on and 1 out. Saucedo, a 21st round pick in 2015 out of Tennessee Wesleyan University in Athens, Tennessee.
So where in Hawaii?
Honolulu, of course.
Right in Honolulu. Okay.
Right there on the Big Island.
Diamond Head on the beach. Get the surfboard.
Sounds like a nice life. Groceries are expensive, though. Throw to first. Got him. That's a really nice play by Vaughn Grissom. If they did indeed get Edwards, Marlins are thinking about this. And they say play on. That's a heck of a play.
Yeah, it's a really nice play with Xavier the runner. You know, as Grissom knows, he's going to have to unload quickly, make a good throw. Got a 1-hop pick over there by Shannawell. Yeah, off the bat, off the get-go, you thought this was going to be a base hit. But finally played by Grissom at third.
So quickly 2 out. Here's Owen Casey after a strikeout and a ground out. Casey swings through a good slider from Saucedo, who really struggled last season. Had a 7.43 ERA with Seattle. The Mariners non-tendered him in the offseason. The Angels signed him to a minor league deal in December. And he gets ahead of Casey, 0-2. Just a soft tossing left-hander facing a slugging, powerful left-handed bat. And Casey. And there's strike 3 called. That is a perfect bottom of the 5th inning for Saucedo.
Taking care of our own.
We're tied at 1 apiece here at the top of the 6th. A big congratulations is in order for Otto Lopez, who was named the Marlins 2026 Heart and Hustle Award winner. The award is presented annually by the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association, recognizing one player from each club who demonstrates a passion for baseball and embodies its values, its spirits, and traditions. Clayton said before the game, Otto, he is a hard-nosed player who never complains, is always desires to get better. He added that Otto is also a great teammate who has the ability to touch everyone in in the clubhouse, guys. Otto Lopez became just the second Dominican-born player in Marlins history to win that franchise award following Marcelo Zuna in 2016.
Well, thank you so much for that, Kelly, and congratulations in order, of course, to Otto.
And I'm happy to say, as a member of the baseball alumni, I have the opportunity to vote on that.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, that's excellent.
Otto, well deserving.
And on the other side, in the other dugout, Mike Trout was named the Angels Heart and Hustle Award winner for the 5th time in his career. He was actually the overall MLB Heart and Hustle Award winner back in 2012. And he just told Zach Neto to get the heck out of my way, and that's my spot.
It's my spot.
On Grissom with a swing and a miss.
So right now Clayton trying to get a couple of innings out of Michael Peterson,
which makes sense given the way that he had to work the bullpen there in Atlanta. Top of the 6th, 1-1.
You know, there are a couple of ways to look at it when you're managing and you decide to make this move, bring Michael Peterson in. You realize also that you have Sandy going tomorrow, so you're banking on another good 6-7 innings out of Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah, you're right. Grissom 0 for 2 at the plate with a fly out and a strikeout. And strike 3 called. And Grissom will challenge this slider called strike 3. I'm not sure he's going to win this challenge. In fact, I think he might feel a little silly.
Yeah,
ABS powered by T-Mobile.
I thought this was a pretty good pitch.
Oh, geez. Indeed it was. The Angels have one challenge remaining, just like the Marlins.
Boy, that's a good combo that Michael has. He's got that fastball 99, 100. Then he gets snap off a slider right on the outer part of the plate.
2 straight strikeouts for Peterson. Here's Ballesteros, who has crushed the baseball tonight. The single earlier in the game in the 2nd left his bat right around 107 miles an hour. And then he lined out to right field. In the 4th, he hit that one at 108. And he lays off a fastball at 100. 1 ball and 1 strike on Ballesteros.
You notice too what Michael did. He started him with a changeup.
Just to keep him off balance.
Late on that.
So do you stick with that, or do you try to bury a changeup now and strike him out?
No, you don't go changeup.
Okay.
You could try to bury a slider. Or you stay up with the fastball. Triple digits, you're going to get it by him.
There's the slider.
Yep. Now I don't think you want to go 3-2. Maybe a fastball, or he may go back to the slider. I think fastball though, 4-seamer.
But he missed too high for ball 3. Ballesteros, a big time prospect with the Cubs. Just no room for him. And that missed inside for ball 4. Make sure you stay tuned till the 7th inning for the stretch, brought to you by Celsius Energy Drinks. You know, Ballesteros in a recent Marlins pickup, very similar boats. Jonathan Long, who was acquired in the deal for Braxton Garrett, was also blocked in Chicago. Marlins are happy to have him. Clayton's going to go back to the bullpen. Josh Eknes is going to come on in relief of Michael Peterson. go-ahead run at first base for the Angels when we return.
Summer sale ends.
Make sure you come out for the Marlins T-Mobile Colombian Heritage Celebration tomorrow at 4:10. Marlins are going to take on the Angels, and you can take home an exclusive jersey with your ticket package. Get your tickets at marlins.com/Columbia. It'll be a party. It'll be very festive here tomorrow night. It's a fireworks Friday here tonight. Plenty of celebration after the game, and Marlins hoping there's some fireworks offensively here down the stretch as Josh Eknes comes on in relief of Michael Peterson, who leaves responsible for Ballesteros at first. Peraza with a ground ball to second. Edwards to Lopez to Stowers, not in time. Boy, did that look close.
It sure did. Naked eye, I thought he had him, but they get the right line. Yeah, I thought he had him, but it was close.
You know what, Hud? We have the benefit of replay, and you can tell me.
Let's see
if he's got him. Yeah, a little tough to tell.
Can't tell by that.
Challenge brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Ooh. I don't know. I think right there. Stop it right there.
He got
I think that's enough.
I think he got him.
I think that's enough. Absolutely. Boy, we'd be really good at that, Hud. We've quickly rendered a verdict.
See, we would do it. We would probably render the verdicts too fast, though. You know, yeah, we got it.
Hey, they got to the conclusion quickly.
All right.
There you go. Call is overturned. A good challenge by the Marlins in an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play off the bat of Oswald Peraza.
Columbia.
Bottom of the 6th inning. Scoreboard brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Tied at 1. 1 pitch in 2 outs for Josh Eknes.
Yeah, how about that job?
Play.
Look at that, 4-6-3. Good turn. Look at how Otto got out of the way and gave himself a good angle for the strong throw to first base.
Well, Jimenez leads off for the Marlins, who have scored 1 run on 4 hits. Saucedo wants a little more. He'll get a little more. And the only run that is scored for the Marlins tonight came courtesy of Kyle Stowers, who drew a bases-loaded walk in the 4th. So both starters are out of the game. Neither one will factor into tonight's decision as Jimenez pops this up. Shallow center. Peraza out. Trout in. And the basket catch waist high by Mike Trout for out 1.
Another lot of ground for Trout to cover. He's covered a lot of ground tonight.
Here's your game recap. Trout with his 6th birthday homer. And the Stowers bases loaded walk. Well, not a whole lot of offense to speak of. Maybe Jacob Marcy could change that. Marlins have been okay at times during interleague play this season, 17-22, but earlier this summer they had an 8-game interleague winning streak. There's Sean Anderson, the former Marlin. Grew up here in South Florida.
That might have caught just a little piece of that top part of the strike zone.
And now the Marlins are without challenges.
Yeah.
By the way, that 8-game interleague winning streak for the Marlins still intact. Little flare into shallow center. Trout racing on again, and he goes in with a dive, and he can't make the catch. Marcy's hung up between first and second. Here's the throw back to the bag, and it's dropped by Shonowell. And Marcy is safe. That was eventful there. Woo. That comes out in the wash as a single, but it's much more than that.
Boy, Trout got there as soon as he hit the ground, though the ball came out, and then he alertly pounced on it. I like the thought by Jacob, but get back there because he would have been nailed. There are no errors on that play, but He put the brakes on, slipped a little bit, but was able to get back to first base.
So the go-ahead run at first for the Marlins here in the bottom of the 6th.
But a 2-hit night for Jacob Marcy. The bunt base hit back in the 4th inning, and that hit there.
Game 2 coverage begins at 3:45 tomorrow afternoon. Sandy's on the mound. 4:10 first pitch. So Saucedo facing Mack. Well, the Angels think that he might try to bunt. Vaughn Grissom is in on the grass at third. See Neto playing him up the middle. He's back. Peraza shading the hole at second. Shanoel holding on Marcy, who I don't think would try to run here. But they're not convinced that the Marlins are swinging away. He's swinging away, and a little dribbler up the middle fielded by Neto, who's off balance. Throw to first is in time.
Well, I thought that ball was going into center field, but Neto covered a lot of ground, getting from where he was at his position and then really fielding it all the way over on the right side of the infield.
Thought he made that look pretty easy.
Yeah.
Didn't he? And here comes Kurt Suzuki. Here's the play again.
And he's over on the right side all the way there and then makes it. He made that look easy, and that was a tough play.
Suzuki takes Saucedo out. Anderson is coming in for the Halos when we return.
Summer sale ends.
Don't miss a pitch this season with Marlins TV, brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia. Stream the entire season within Marlins territory at home or on the go. Stay connected all season long. Visit Marlins.tv for details and start streaming today. Sean Anderson is on in relief of Taylor Saucedo. Anderson made 4 appearances, including 2 starts for the Marlins back in 2024. And his contract selected from AAA Salt Lake prior to Tuesday's game. This is his 3rd major league stint of the season. His 87th career major league appearance, as his slider to Esteri Ruiz misses high.
Yeah, last time out did a nice job for them in Baltimore. A couple of innings. Gave up just 1 hit, no runs, and had 3 strikeouts.
With 2 outs, you know Marcy's going on contact. Plenty of speed out there at second as Miami looks to take its first lead of the night. And the 2-0s taken outside for ball 3 with Stowers on deck. Sean Anderson was born in Coral Springs, went to American Heritage High. And there's ball 4. 4 non-competitive pitches from Anderson to Ruiz. And the Marlins have first and second with 2 out. It's got Kurt Suzuki biting his lip, and Mike Maddox probably wondering, how on earth did we walk so many guys this season?
Yeah, and that's certainly what drives managers crazy, because you bring him in to pitch to the right-hander. He walks the right-hander. Now he's got to go after Kyle Stowers right here.
Right. The assignment was, let's not see how difficult we could make this. But the degree of difficulty ratchets up. Stowers pops this up outside of third into the lower level of the seats here at Lone Depot Park. Strike 1 on Stowers, who's 2 for 2 tonight with a couple of singles and an RBI walk with the bases loaded.
Yeah, so the Angels haven't retired Kyle tonight.
Stowers is thinking about retiring the Angels with a big swing. Stowers, fly ball, shallow center field, sinking fast, down for a base hit. Marcy will score. Kyle Stowers has his 3rd hit of the night. This one his biggest yet. The Marlins take their first lead. It's 2-1.
Second ball he's hit to center field. He's just kind of blooped out there in the right spot. There's a changeup from Anderson. Kyle doesn't hit it all that well, but just dropped it in the perfect spot in front of Mike Trout.
Shades of your 56th degree I heard about on Tuesday afternoon, Hud. Little backspin.
Yeah.
Right next to the stick. So first and third with 2 outs, and here's Otto Lopez, who was searching for some redemption here. He grounded back to the pitcher in the 4th inning with the bases loaded and 2 out. A little late on that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Otto. 18th 3-hit game of Kyle Stowers' career. Ruiz at third. Anderson on the relief of Saucedo, who's going to be charged with that run. Ground ball up the middle to the backhand of Peraza, whose long throw to first is in time. But the Marlins take the lead thanks to Kyle Stowers. Well, make sure you score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Marlins, the official source for your Marlins gear. 2-1 Marlins lead. Josh Lowe batting, facing Josh Eknes, who threw 1 pitch in the top of the 6th inning and got 2 outs. 7th inning scoreboard brought to you by Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia.
Got to be careful. Josh Lowe can take you deep. A few years ago with Tampa, back in 23, he hit 20 home runs.
Eight homers this season. Good sweeper, 1-2. Blake Wyman now loosening. Just outside.
Boy, Eknes has that good pop. Saw that 99 with the fastball. Pitch prior to that, a terrific sweeper.
Fourth round pick by the Marlins was Eknes in 23. Not highly touted, but the Marlins saw a very intriguing arm. And now he's a very interesting bullpen prospect, I'd say. 3-2. Ball 4. He lost him. He was ahead of him 1-2 there. That'll frustrate you if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, especially the leadoff guy leading off the inning.
And here is Heineman. That's a beautiful bunt. And Stowers with a little lob to first. Angels making no bones about that. They were having him drop down a sacrifice bunt the whole way. So now the tying run is at second with 1 out. Meckler will bat after a quick message from Werner, Hoffman, Gregg, and Garcia.
Winning doesn't just happen by accident. At WHG, we know every case is earned before you ever step inside the courtroom. WHG, preparation wins.
You don't see that too often on the road, trying to move a runner over to tie. You know, you might do that if you're the home team.
You know, the little things there too that we often take for granted. You can't lose any concentration. Edwards has got to remember, I've got to go cover first, right? Stowers has got to know that I've got to charge. Meckler fouls one off. It's 0-2.
Stowers also had a decision to make. It was borderline. Did he have a play at second base?
He thought about it, didn't he?
I know he did.
Because he almost got his little lob to Edwards, caught him in between. So low at second, Meckler at the plate. He's 0 for 3. Batting average down to .304. Bouncing ball up the middle, right to Otto Lopez, who throws out Meckler at first. Low goes to third, but now there's 2 outs for Trout. There was probably a day in Mike Trout's career where this decision may have actually been one, but I think we're at a point where you pitch to him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got a left-hander, Shonwell, on deck.
But there was a point in his career where he was so feared you might think about walking.
It wouldn't have mattered who was on deck.
Yep. Isn't that amazing? So no balls and 1 strike to count on Trout. Who homered in the first, struck out in the third, walked in the fifth. Tying run at third with 2 outs as Trout takes strike 2.
Boy, he's doing a couple of really good sweepers on him.
So what do you do now?
Go off the plate with it.
And if you miss with the first, just keep going back?
Yeah, you could still, with his velocity, he could still time up inside with a good fastball.
There's the first one. Maybe up and in here with a heater.
Let's see what Schneider has on his card.
Yeah. Bouncing ball right back to Eknes. Edwards backs it up. The throw to first, not in time. That split the wickets of Eknes. Low scores from third. It was hit so softly, it almost looked like it spooked Eknes, and he just couldn't field it.
It's like getting a changeup hit back to you. You think it's going to be harder. He was right there. Did not field the ball, and because of that, the Angels have tied it.
And it just bounced out in front of that lip on the mound. And you do countless hours of pitchers fielding practice work on the backfields in spring training for those situations right there. So it's a 2-2 game here in the 7th. Well, maybe Edwards had a play, but Trout was too quick. Shonwell is 0 for 2, and he hits that in the air deep right center field. Way back there, onto the warning track, at the wall and gone. And the Angels lead 4-2.
Well, I tell you, it's the little things. You think about PFP. I don't want to say routine, but it's a play that has to be made. It's not made, and all of a sudden the Angels with the next batter, Shonwell, taking the sweeper deep for his 7th home run of the year.
Now Neto flies one down the right field line, foul into the seats. The misplay by Eknes off the bat of Trout allowed him to tie it. And a 2-run homer by Shonwell has made it 4-2. That was the first home run surrendered by Josh Eknes in his career. There's Calvin Fauché. Neto shaking his head. 0 for 3 tonight with a ground out and a couple of strikeouts.
Once again, you put yourself in that position expecting 4 or 5 relievers all to be successful, and it's tough. Right now it's tough for Josh Eknes trying to regroup.
And he misses outside on Neto with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A misplay that would have ended the inning has led to 3 runs. And that's flown in the air to left. They actually do go E1 on Trout. No RBI. So 3 unearned runs here in the top of the 7th inning as we take you to the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Game certainly turned around real quick with that home run from Nolan Shanuel, but things seem to be going in the right direction for Kyle Stowers, who had 4 hits against the Sacramento A's. It felt like a long time ago, but now Stowers is getting the bat going again. He singles to right field. In fact, Stowers didn't have just 1 hit tonight. As a matter of fact, he had 3, a couple of different times, just blooping the ball into the outfield. And he also drove in a run on a walk. This was the run that, of course, we thought could have potentially led the Marlins to a win. Hopefully he can. We'll be back to Marlins baseball after a quick word from our friends at Celsius.
Well, here we go. Bottom of the 7th inning. Marlins are trailing the Angels 4-2. And here comes a major league debut. It's always a special occasion for any big leaguer. And this is Blake Wyman, the native of Littleton, Colorado. Goes about 6'3", 225. He's 30 years old. It's been an adventurous professional career. And here is Wyman. Tell you what, making your debut out of the bullpen in a high leverage situation. A 2-run lead to preserve in the 7th. And Augustin Ramirez is going to pinch hit. And the first one that he sees is in there for a strike. 34 games this season for Ramirez, batting .227. He had a hit last night's ball game, did Augustine.
I'm sure that felt good for him after his return.
Certainly. Wyman, the 7th Angel to debut this season. That also includes Clausen, who started this game. And a line drive into center field and a base hit.
That's a good way to start. You pinch hit Gus there because Griffin Conine the DH, and that way Augustine can just take over in that DH spot. So good way to start things. Nice pinch hit, rip up the middle.
So Augustine at first. And here's Xavier Edwards, who takes strike one, a sinker at 90 miles an hour from Wyman. Edwards 0 for 3 tonight. Let's see if the Marlins have a late rally in them. Bit of a deflating top half of this inning, with Eknes unable to field the ground ball off the bat of Trout. Edwards sends one into right, and right there is Lowe to make the catch. One gone. And the first career out is coming back into the dugout. It'll get authenticated.
And we'll see another pinch hitter.
That will be Heriberto Hernandez, who has had plenty of success pinch hitting this season. 6 for 15 with 3 homers, 4 RBIs, batting .400. And in his career, Hernandez a .360 hitter with 4 homers and 7 RBIs in these pinch hit situations.
Those are great numbers,
aren't they? Strike one call. One the count on Hernandez, who pops one up. Shallow center, Peraza ranging out, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Marlins trying not to spoil the leadoff pinch hit single from Ramirez, and here comes Jimenez. Wyman's got his first 2 outs in the big leagues.
Remember, too, we didn't want to bring it up again, and we hoped it didn't come back to bite you. But look back to that 3rd inning. Remember, the Marlins had 1st and 3rd and nobody out.
Yep.
And couldn't cash in.
Wyman, 30 years old, grew up in Littleton, Colorado, went to the University of Kansas. 35th round pick in 2019 by the Nationals, didn't even sign. Bouncing ball, that's going to sneak through the right side, to base hit. Ramirez will stop at second. And now the tying run is on base for the Marlins, with Jacob Marcy coming to the plate. I think they were going to pull him back. They are. Javier Sanoja is going to hit for him. And Clayton unloading his bench here in the 7th. But for good reason. He cannot waste any time. He's got a matchup he likes. He's got to go to it. And here's another Sanoja. So that leaves only Brian Navarreto on the bench.
Well, when you have that opportunity and you've got the right-handers on the bench and you know you're going to get those matchups in your favor, you got to go for it.
A couple of hits and 5 at-bats with a couple of RBIs for Sanoja pinch hitting this season. Sanoja takes ball 1 inside from the lefty Wyman.
See if Javi can get his pitch right here.
Jose Fermin. Hard throwing right-hander loosening. Sanoja 4 homers, 39 RBIs on the year. Tying run at first with 2 outs here in the last of the 7th for the Marlins. And the 2-0 pitch drops in there for a strike.
Yeah, not thinking slider. He was thinking something a little straighter, 4-seamer, 2-seamer maybe.
Little chopper out in front of the plate. Wyman spins and fires. And he tosses a scoreless inning in his major league debut. Miami Marlins baseball is brought to you by the Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. And by Hard Rock Bet, the official betting partner of the Miami Marlins. Busy night out there on South Beach. Interesting ball game here at Lone Depot Park. Angels leading 4-2 as we go to the top of the 8th. Josh Eknes charged with 3 runs, nothing earned there in the 7th. Heriberto Hernandez now in left. Ruiz goes from left to center. Javier Sanoja, who pinch hit, is in right. And on the mound is Calvin Fauché, who needs to keep this right where it's at. And Vaughn Grissom leads things off. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you think of these as high leverage situations if it's a tie game, if you're up by a run, but it's every bit high leverage even when you're down by 2 to keep it that way.
Especially when you've dropped 3 straight and in danger of falling to a game under 500 should you not come back in this one this evening. For as much as the Angels have struggled this season, their bullpen has actually been pretty good as that sweeper has called the ball.
I think it was challenged by Joe. Maybe
yeah,
not.
He said he wanted the challenge.
Yeah,
but they don't have any left. That's the problem.
That's a good point. That's what home plate umpire Jonathan Parra said. Hey, you got none left.
Yeah. I gave you 2 shots. Not going to matter anyways. Grissom sends that one up towards the rafters. Edwards waits for it to come down, 1 away.
O'Shea had a good inning the other night in Atlanta. Gave up a couple of hits, no runs. He's been kind of a strikeout guy lately. He's picked up 7 strikeouts over his last 2 2/3 innings now.
There's the flame-throwing Ben Joyce, product of the University of Tennessee. There's a swing and a miss. So Marlins at one point this season had won 8 consecutive interleague games in a row. Now they dragged the league's longest active interleague losing streak into tonight's matchup here with the Angels. They've lost 6 in a row. That dates back to July 10th.
You know, speaking of flamethrowers, I think a lot of people were surprised that Mason Miller stayed in San Diego.
Yeah, I wonder if he was. So much scuttlebutt about what was going to happen there.
So all the Padres did was add 2 veteran starters to their rotation.
Moises Ballesteros waits on a 1-2 and swings and misses. Pop out and a strikeout for Fauché. A nice start for him here in the 8th.
Yeah, that was good sinker. He got 2-seamer. Watch that ball sink down and away. Got a good hitter. Ballesteros swings the bat well.
So 2 quick outs for Fauché. Here is Peraza. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Venezuelan infielder playing in his 5th major league season. Swing and a miss, 1-1. He was traded by the Yankees, the Angels last July for a minor leaguer and some future considerations. Swing and a miss, 1-2. So Joyce loosening for the bottom of the 8th. Marlins trailing 4-2. They're out hitting the Angels 8-6. But one very costly error has the Angels feeling like they might just steal a game here this weekend.
Yeah, another big number stands out too. 11 left on base.
Oh. Did Joe just whiff on that pitch?
That ball came back. That was another one of those sinkers that had terrific movement.
Well, that's a little crazy.
See the ball? He reaches out for it and it comes back. He whiffed totally and it got him on the shin guard.
Right on the knee.
Up on the knee.
Jeez. So now the count is full on Peraza. Game 2 at 4:10 tomorrow afternoon, and the series will wrap up at 1:40 on Sunday.
Really, really good pitching matchup tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Sandy Alcantara versus Walbert Urania, a rookie for the Angels who has a 2.54 ERA.
And Sandy coming off National League Pitcher of the Week honors.
Another foul ball off the bat of Peraza. The 9th pitch that he sees. Here it comes, and Fauché struck him out with a sweeper. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th. Marlins needing 2 to tie. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. While the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Look at that party. Here is indeed the right-handed flame-throwing Ben Joyce, who's famous for a fastball that has in his career reached 105.5 miles an hour. That is a first pitch sinker at 97. Swung on and missed by Joe Mack. 0-1.
Yeah, fastballs and sinkers, and it's a fresh arm because he's missed over 110 games with shoulder inflammation. He's just recently been activated.
Mack 0 for 3. In college, Joyce became one of the most dominant relievers in college baseball history, but it always wasn't that way. When he was in Hiceville in high school in Knoxville, Tennessee, he was 5 feet 4 inches tall and 120 pounds when he first tried out. And then, well, as you can tell, he did indeed experience a rather large growth spurt.
He experienced a velocity spurt.
Yes, he did. He certainly did. Joyce only pitched 4 1/3 innings last season for a right shoulder injury, ended his year as he strikes out Mack looking at a fastball at 103 miles an hour. 103.
Yeah, 103 and not really straight either with movement. Wow.
Come get yourself a little bit of that. Fairbanks and King loosening. Here is Esteri Ruiz. He's 1 for 1. Fastball missed a little high at 101.
Yeah, Ruiz has done his job. Base hit, walked a couple of times.
What? 101 shoots the knees on the inside corner. It's been a long road to recovery too for Joyce, who after beginning the season on the injured list had a little interruption during his rehab. He didn't even start a rehab assignment until July. Broken background ball left side, and the throw to first by Guzman is in time. And Ruiz is saying, take a look at this. That is Guzman, who's now into the ball game for Grissom at third.
Yeah, a little harder to get out of the box when you get jammed. You're a right-handed hitter, and even though Ruiz has the speed, he got jammed. See, did Shonowell
his foot's not
stay
on the
on
bag.
the bag? It's not on the bag there. Not sure if he got it back.
Man. As close as it gets, don't you think?
Yeah, and I think that's what Ruiz was looking at.
Well, now there's something wrong with Jonathan Parra, who was hit. Watch Parra get hit by a bat. Oh, broken bat.
No.
Knocked him right upside the head.
And even Ruiz looking back a little bit. And again, when you get jammed, a right-handed hitter, you kind of have to, you're stepping back in the box, so you're not getting out front, getting that great jump out of the batter's box.
Meanwhile, the challenge is still going. I'm not too sure there's going to be enough evidence to overturn it. Let's see.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if there's a part on the bag, the cleat, part of the shoe.
Calling the field stands, the runner's out.
Yeah.
Miami will lose their count.
Kind of felt like that was going to be the case there. So Denzer Guzman throws out Ruiz. And there's 2 away. No additional defensive changes for the Angels here in the 8th. Just Guzman at third for Grissom. And there's 2 out rather quickly. Here's Stowers. Facing Joyce, who's appearing for just the 2nd time this season. He made his triumphant return a couple of days ago in Baltimore.
We'll always know that Kyle Stowers can handle heat.
Mason Miller?
Yeah.
That's the sprinkler, isn't it? I know he calls it the sinker, but that's like his. That's his
kind of like his changeup.
Yeah, it's kind of like his trademark pitch.
Yeah. Surprised they didn't challenge that.
Ripped into right, and a base hit for Stowers. How about he turns and burns and gets out in front of a 101-mile-an-hour heater?
Yeah, a couple of bloops on pitches less than 101, and then he turns on that, and that's a hard hit ball, and it's also a 4-hit game for Kyle Stowers. Good for him. Keeps the inning alive.
Just the 5th time in his career he's had 4 more hits in a game. 2nd time this season. He had 4 hits against Philadelphia in Philadelphia on June 17th. Make it the 3rd time. He also got 4 hits in Sacramento on July 3rd. So here's Otto Lopez, who's 0 for 4. Broken back ground ball hit softly up the middle. Neto steps on the bag and the side is retired. 4-2 Angels will go to the 9th.
I'm Jay.
Now back here at Lone Depot Park, game 1 of a 3-game weekend series between the Marlins and the Angels. And Los Angeles leads 4-2 over Miami. Here's your starting pitching matchup tomorrow. Coverage begins at 3:45 right here on Marlins.tv. Urania versus Alcantara. No, not that Urania.
Now we talked about Clayton banking on Sandy going deep. 20 of his 24 starts this year, Sandy Alcantara's gone 6 or more innings.
He is having an outstanding season. Jose Siri is going to pinch hit for Josh Lowe with John King on the mound now. He pitched yesterday in Atlanta.
Those guys may have done that when they were with the Rays. Siri pinch hitting for Josh Lowe.
Yeah, you're right. They may very well have. In fact, I'm sure they did. 61 games for Jose Siri. 6 homers, 19 RBIs, and 802 OPS. Actually having a decent year. OPS is roughly 80 points better than league average.
Yeah, he's always been a guy, a free swinger. The average usually isn't real high, but a terrific outfielder.
One inning, couple of strikeouts for Fauché. Well, John King really struggled last night. An inning, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk. He gave up the homer to Olsen, the RBI double to Thomas.
Were you surprised that Matt Olson hit that changeup the way he did? The way he did?
Sure was.
Yeah.
To dead central, about 4 inches off the plate. It's like low and in.
Yeah. I think at times John King tried to overthrow that a little bit. He's so much better when that sinker's down and he gets the ground balls.
And he struck him out with a good slider.
Yeah, that was a hittable pitch that Siri just came out of his shoes and almost out of his helmet. So John was able to pick up the strikeout.
And here is Tyler Heineman, the lone switch hitter on the roster for the Angels. We have a challenge coming. Curveball was called a strike. ABS is powered by T-Mobile. Heineman thinks this missed outside. It did not.
Ball is confirmed. Pitch is a strike.
So now both teams out of challenges.
And the rest of the way will be done the way it used to be played, huh? The old-fashioned way, they said. By the way, tomorrow for Sandy, it'll be his 3rd career start against the Angels.
Have you noticed with the challenges, though, that the more veteran hitters, because they're not as used to this system, you don't see making challenges as often.
Right.
They're like kind of tentative because they're not sure.
I think some genuinely oftentimes forget too. You know, the guys that have been playing for a decade and it's been implemented in like year 11 of your career. It's just something that I don't know if they think about maybe as routinely as some of the younger players do. King with an 0-2 to Heineman, misses low. John King struggling recently, a 7.71 ERA over his last 7 outings, but Heineman flies this into right. And Sanoha makes the catch. There's 2 out. Here's Wade Meckler. What an unbelievable dream come true for Wade Meckler, a lifelong Angels fan. Went to Esperanza High right in Anaheim, just a short drive to Angel Stadium. So of course when the Angels acquired him from the Giants organization and brought him to the major leagues this season, I was quite literally, he was coming home.
Didn't have to get directions.
No.
To the ballpark either.
But he got the cool parking this time.
Yeah.
He got to go in a cool spot of the part of the parking lot, I guess. So remember I mentioned earlier Meckler made his Angels debut. I don't know if I mentioned against Texas. Bottom of the 1st inning. But he took Jacob deGrom deep. He cues that one to 3rd. And Jimenez throws him out in the side of time. 2 to tie, 3 to win. We'll see if they can do it when we come back.
Taking care of our own.
Now here's a look at the game summary here in Miami tonight. Bottom of the 9th inning. Angels leading 4-2. Phillips went 3. Trout 1 for 3 with a homer. Stowers 4 for 4 with a walk. So it'll be Ramirez, Edwards, and Hernandez for the Marlins, down 2, needing 2 to tie and 3 to win it here in the 9th. And they'll face Jose Fermin, the 6'3", 240-pound right-hander out of the Dominican Republic, who will vie for his first career save. Fermin fires, and there's strike 1. So the Angels have the fewest saves in Major League Baseball this season. They've only saved 15 games. Zefferdon, who they just traded to the Cubs, has 4. Romano, who was released in April, has 4. And Yates, who was traded to the Pirates, has 3. That hits the bag. And that's an infield base hit for Agustin Ramirez. He'll take it. He pinch hit in the 7th. And he's got a couple of hits.
Yeah, do or die by Guzman at 3rd. Once he realized he wasn't going to be able to throw out Augustine, he decided to let it go to see if it'd go foul, and the ball hit the bag. So a 2-for-2 night. Good way to get things started here in the bottom of the ninth.
Again, Fermin is bidding for his first major league save. So 11 of your 15 saves this season have come from guys that are no longer on the team, including Zephyr John, Romano, and Yates. So Ramirez at first. He's not going to go too far. He got picked off in Atlanta last night. Can't have that here. Xavier Edwards thinking about bunting, pulls back on a slider.
A lot of sliders, and we saw the sinker about 96, 97. But he'll actually throw more sliders than sinkers.
One ball, no strikes to count on Edwards. If you're into such matters, the Marlins have 5 walk-off wins this season, and 21 come from behind victories. When behind after 8, they're 2-51. As Edwards checked his swing. But the Marlins do play well here at home, 34-23. Clayton McCullough chatting with Carson Vitale. Do we have a dramatic finish in store here tonight? Let's find out.
Why not? Put a little pressure on the guy that's never had a major league save.
Why not?
Let that guy know. Let Mike Maddox know too, but he knows himself. But let the guy out there in the mound know that it's tough to get those final 3 outs of a game.
3-1.
Good take. Make him pitch.
Yeah.
Good job by Xavier.
You have to be very confident as a hitter
Yes.
to take a 3-1 slider down the middle of the plate. To make him throw another. Remember, things were so bleak, what, a week and a half ago? The Marlins had to rally big off of Johan Duran, the Phillies closer. Now they're trying to rally against Fermin, pitching to a 3.13 ERA. 3-2 wasted foul. What an incredible ability to just get bat on ball to spoil that.
Just to stay alive. Of the Marlin hitters, Xavier is probably the best at doing that.
Chopper towards first. A leaping grab by Shanoel, who steps on the bag.
A little higher, that'd have been trouble.
Yeah, because he was not going to be able to get back to the bag. That's a real big first out for Fermin.
And a little bit higher, this ball's down into the corner. And there are either runners at second and third, or runner at second, and a run scores.
Heck of an effort there by Shanoel. But the tying run remains at the plate for the Marlins. Here is Hernandez. Foul tip, 0-1.
He had the kind of swing that looked like he was looking slider, got slider, and he just fouled it off.
He checked. Four-2 Angels, bottom of the 9th inning. Hernandez, fly ball left field, got underneath it.
He just missed it.
And there's 2 away.
He really went up there with an idea to just sit on sliders, and he got another one right there, but just got under it, just missed it.
Well, here comes Leo Jimenez. 75th major league appearance for Fermin, again bidding for his first major league save. Angels are trying to take game one from the Marlins. Jimenez 1 for 4. And a line drive into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. They're going to send Ramirez. Here comes the throw. It's cut off on the mound. 2-out RBI single for Leo Jimenez. 4-3. And the winning run will come to the plate. Tying run at first. He's coming around a little bit.
Yeah, good to see him get an opportunity to play a little bit. His second base hit tonight. He's hit a couple of balls really well.
So do the Marlins have one big magical swing in them from the smallest fella on the team? Fermin is going to have to face Sanoja.
He might be small, but he's come up big so many times.
He sure has.
Got a third of an inning under his belt last night on the mound.
Run home here in the last of the ninth inning for the Marlins. They've got 11 hits to the Angels 6. Ball 1 to Javier Sanoja. Do you think any part of, I mean, this sounds crazy. Any part of the conversation is to be more careful with Sanoja with Mack on deck? I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because it would be lefty on righty matchup.
I wonder what they were talking about, though. 1-1.
Sometimes it gives the pitcher a little breather, number one, and number two, just to kind of go over again how to pitch Javier Sanoja.
Two and 1. Marlins trying to avoid dropping their 4th consecutive game. That would send them back to a game under 500. And Kurt Suzuki's bunch trying to hold on for their 45th victory of the season. Ryan Gusto can barely watch. That's going to stay foul. And it just barely did because it started right. It took a left turn.
Every once in a while, I've seen it a couple of times. Guys will hit a ball like that, stay at home plate, but it has some funny spin. And he'll spin back into fair territory. So I really love what Javi did. Yeah, he ran.
Yeah, because if he didn't, Shawna-Well would have let that roll as long as he possibly could have. So now the Marlins down to their final strike. Game 2 tomorrow at 4:10. Coverage will begin at 3:45. This one not quite over yet. Two. So they got a shot down the left field line, the base hit. Jimenez around second. Jimenez on his way to third. He's going to get the wave. The throw to the plate. Got him. And the ball game is over. And the Marlins will take a look just in case. They are asking for a crew chief review. An aggressive send. And a perfect throw from Siri.
Yeah, I think anybody in the ballpark wanted to see him go. So no problem with the send by Blake Lally. You wanted to make the Angels make a perfect throw. This ball just gets over the head of Guzman, the third baseman. I thought Jimenez was going to get there, but it was an absolute perfect relay throw. Did he tag him?
Holy cow.
Did he tag him?
I think he did. I think he got him on the left shoulder before the oven mitt could get there. And you have to remember the call on the field is out. If it's overturned, it's a game-tying double. The Angels are lined up and ready to shake hands. It is so close, you have to have enough to overturn it.
By the way, what a great at bat, and he does it so often, by Javier Sanoja.
Here's the call.
That's refused. Calling field stands. The runner's out.
And the Angels win the ball game by a final score of 4-3. A run, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base here in the bottom of the 9th. Marlins have now lost 4 in a row. They're 58-59.
Take one more look. You see the oven mitt on the base, but just prior to that, the tag got up on the shoulder. Great tag by Heineman, the catcher. Great relay throw. It took all of that to complete that play. What an ending. Marlins didn't give up. They left a lot of guys on early in the game, and I think that hurt them in this one, to just lose by 1 run.
And Fermin saves his first career game. If he was called safe at the plate, there's probably not enough to overturn it, but it does look like Heineman might have got him on that left shoulder right before his mitt hit home plate. And the ball game is over. Any closing thoughts here?
Just that there were opportunities, and we talked about that early in the game. 1st and 3rd, nobody out, weren't able to capitalize. A lot of men left on base. They did put together 12 hits. Super night for Kyle Stowers, who had 4. Just came up 1 run short on a misplay back to the mound.
It was an early morning for the Marlins, a disappointing finish, but they didn't give up. Angels 4, Marlins 3, the final score. And we'll re-rack it and see you back here at 3:45 tomorrow afternoon. Post-game show coming up next. Game 2 comes your way tomorrow. For Tommy and Kelly, our director Matt, and our producer Max and Kyle, so long from Lone Depot Park. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hang around. The Marlins post-game show is next.